So, thank you to everyone for coming to the podcast, No Bibs, Burps, Bottles. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening. You can hear this on YouTube. You can also hear this on Spotify. And today we have a special episode for International Childfree Day. I'm the host, Dr. Angela L. Harris of No Bibs, Burps, Bottles, where we empower, inspire, highlight, and celebrate African American Black child-free women to live their best child-free life. So, we're doing a different kind of episode today, again, in celebration of International Child Free Day, that's going to be on August 1st. So, depending on if you watch it on International Child Free Day or thereafter, we have some really great people who are going to share their child free story with you. So, I'm going to have our child free besties, because that's who they are, go around and introduce themselves. If you guys can share your name, where you're located, and your age. Don't be afraid to share your age. And I'm going to start with me. So, again, I'm Dr. Angela L. Harris. I'm located in North Carolina, and I'm the young age of 54.
I'm Jennifer Haynes, and I'm located in Monroe, Louisiana, and I am 59.
Hey
I
y'all.
am, oh, sorry.
Go for it, Paula.
Okay. Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Paula Goodson, and I live in Houston, Texas, and I am 47.
Hey y'all, I'm Ruthanna Reardon. I am in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and I am the ripe old age of 38, 39 next month. I'll see y'all at my birthday party.
Good morning. My name is Kellea Tibbs, and I am located in Alabama, Northeast Alabama, the Huntsville area. And I am 52.
Yes. So, and the reason why I say let's be unapologetic about our age is because a lot of times people automatically make the assumption that once you're over 30, you're not married, don't have any kids, you're an old maid. And so I think we need to be more intentional about being proud of sharing our ages. And for those who are younger than 40, you are welcomed in this space. And so I just wanted to make sure that whether you're 20, 30, 40, if you're child free by choice, your voice matters here. So, again, in celebration of International Child Free Day, I'm going to actually go to Kellea. And Kellea, I want to know from you, ideally, what should International Child Free Day look like? If you had your way, how would we actually be celebrating it?
I think the celebration would include um, respecting and acknowledging our choices, because for some it is a choice. Like there's a lot of different ways women become child free, but respecting that, respecting the ways that we become child free, and respecting the fact that we are child free, and for people to be okay with it and celebrate it with us, and to understand that women who are child free go hand in hand with women who have children, because we help the community the same way they help the community. They have children who then go on to prosper and, multiply and all of that. But then we also help the community by helping their children. I work in the school system and I help their children every single day. Um, and I don't have my own, but I can treat them as my own because I have the responsibility of working with them every single day. And so we all have our role in the community, and understanding that child-free women have our role, and that we are here to work together and not against each other.
Good, good. Paula, I have a question for you. So we know, and I always say, this is about mutual respect amongst child-free women, child-free individuals, and parents. But Paula, we see a lot, even a month or so before Mother's Day and Father's Day, yet we hear absolutely nothing on International Child Free Day. So the question to you, what are your thoughts about how we can actually change that? What should we think about doing in order to have International Child Free Day be just as prominent as Mother's Day and Father's Day?
I want to piggyback on what Kellea said. She mentioned about celebrating the people who support the village. That's how I see it. I'm also a former educator, and it's important to Mother's Day and Father's Day are important, but Auntie Day are big cousin day or older sister day, or the other people, the other family members, the other support, the other members of the village are equally important. And I think just having those days as well, and uplift and celebrate people, provide people their flowers while they're here and they are in your life.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Ruthanna, I got a question for you. So, I know that you've been pretty involved and you just finished our group experience. So did Jennifer. But, Ruthanna, when we talk about celebrating us, we already know that people actually they feel some kind of way about our choice. So, how do you manage that? How should one manage that, celebrating their choice on International Child Free Day while also recognizing you're going to get maybe some shade, a hateful comment, or people who simply are just like, what's the big deal? Thoughts?
Ooh, such a good question. I have gotten to a place in my child-free journey that I kind of just let those comments roll off my shoulder. It took a while to get there. It hurt for a while that people weren't honoring my choice and were forcing me to honor their choice for me. Like, you'll change your mind, Ruthanna. Just wait till your biological clock. And I was like, "I'm 38, and the clock must not be there because it has not messaged me anything." So I think just recognizing that we're kind of, I don't know. I like to think of it as like we're rebelling against society. We're a resistance to what society tells us you have to do and what has to happen. Like, okay, you got to get married, you got to have kids, you got to get the white picket fence around the house, like all these things that society tells us we're supposed to be doing, and recognizing that my path is different. And in many ways, like I may never own a house, like looking at our economy and looking at so many other things like down the pipeline, I may not ever be able to get retirement from Social Security. So just accepting and embracing that when someone has hate, they're probably just jealous. Let's be honest, that they didn't have the courage or the support system to resist what society tells us we're supposed to be doing. And I usually just kind of say to myself, like, or say to them like, oh, well, thank you for that information, or that's an interesting point of view, or what I respect your take on my life and my personal decisions.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you, Ruthanna. So, Jennifer, a question to you again as we acknowledge and celebrate International Child Free Day. A lot of times we are hearing from maybe women who are a little bit older about their child-free choice. However, with no bibs, burps, bottles, and we see it on social media that there are younger sisters as young as in their 20s who are proud about saying, I don't want kids. So, someone who's of mature age, how would you encourage someone who is in their 20s who may get backlash about making a choice so young? As we celebrate this day, as we highlight us, what would you say to a younger sister who may be struggling with backlash of being child free?
Hmm. That they just would have to stand strong in their choice. And, nobody else has any say in their life, and they need to do what makes them happy. And if being child free is what they want and makes them happy, then they just need to stand up to that when somebody, wants to challenge them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. So
Can
this
I
is
can I add something? I just want to add something to that. The other piece is someone who's in their 20s, especially nowadays. Ruthanna mentioned the economy. Like, I wouldn't be encouraging nobody in their 20s if they're by themselves and say they're not on steady ground financially and things like that to necessarily be having kids anyway. So I don't know why people do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not adding to the situation by encouraging a woman who's 20 in her 20s who's not yet ready in financially, personally, or whatever to have a child, to bring a child into the world. The one thing when you proposed this to us, and I had a chance to um, look at the question and ponder it, that's the one thing I thought about being child free is the relief that I don't have anybody else to take care of because the economy, the everything, you know me, Angela, I can't take care of no kids. And I would not want to do that to myself or to do that to anyone else who is not prepared to do it. I always say, people have children. Hopefully, it's a choice. In a lot of cases, unfortunately, it's not. But
Right.
if you can make that choice, let it be a choice and not because you feel burdened by your community or your family members or anything like that to do it. Because I read a statistic a couple months ago that said it was like upwards of what, 200,000 or $300,000 over 18 years to take care of a child. What? You know how many houses we could buy if we wanted to buy them? Like all five of us on here could buy a house with that amount or
Hmm.
more. And so I think it's interesting that, women in their 20s, and I know a lot of people do it because a lot of it is cyclical and a lot of it is, we had our kids when we was 20, so you should have your kids when you 20. Like, no, not in this day and age. Maybe back in the day when my grandma was 15 and had 11 kids with my granddaddy. But nowadays, no. And that should be a choice of that young lady and not because someone told her to do it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, this is a question I'm going to throw out for anyone who would like to answer. So, again, and this is not harping on Mother's Day, Father's Day, but we see the cards, we see the commercials, we see it on the news. So when someone says, well, they rightfully have something to celebrate, they should be honored, they should be highlighted because they have kids. We get that. But if someone would pose the question to you, what are you celebrating exactly? What is this child free, International Child Free Day? What are you really celebrating, if anything at all? So I'm just going to put that out there. Ruthanna?
Um, and this might be a little tongue in cheek. So if you have to edit it out, my feelings aren't hurt. So I don't know that we ever have had like a true celebration in America for the ending of slavery and people having freedom. I mean, I know we've made Juneteenth a federal holiday, and I'm so happy we've progressed to that point. We should be able to celebrate our freedom.
Simple.
And and
And I actually said I was thinking along the same lines. I was thinking more of a choice. We're celebrating choice.
That's it.
Pro-choice, you have pro-choice, you have pro-life. Well, to me, when we talk about pro-choice is life because you choose to live. We just choose to live child-free. So we're celebrating choice.
Hmm. And a lot of people have a problem with that. A lot of
They
people have a
do. They
problem with
really
that.
do.
Yeah. Anybody else on just like when people are just flabbergasted, like, well, what are y'all really celebrating? And the reason why I asked that is because I put something on my post yesterday about what are you doing to celebrate International Child Free Day? And, most of the comments are positive, but some are just like, what? That's a
Well,
day? What? Why?
Well, just to add to that, it's the freedom to also do with your life, with your money, with your work, with your whatever that you want to do. The freedom to do what you want to do with all of the things that you have. Because if you look at people who do have children, their money is not their own all the time. They gotta make choices. And again, choice. They gotta make a choice
Mhm.
whether or not to buy diapers and buy all these things for their kids and buy clothes and buy these Jordans, which don't get me started. But to do all of these things to provide for their family, that's a choice, because they don't, I mean, they should want to do it. But as we know in the world today, everybody doesn't make good
Everything.
choices when it comes to their children. And so that's their choice. And kudos to those who do that and take care of them because they are raising the future. However, it's our choice to be able to do with our money if you want to travel or buy a house or invest or just go to McDonald's and not have to worry about buying 10 Happy Meals, for somebody. So I'm just saying. So
Got it. All right. So again, I'm really big on this. I've been highlighting International Child Free Day for the last few years, and we typically have had a brunch each year, and we're looking forward to coming back stronger than ever when we have our chocolate and child free brunch next year. But in highlighting this celebration and highlighting this day, what are some of the assumptions that you really want to put to bed that you hear about child free individuals? Like that one that just grinds your gears when people are like, people who don't have kids are this, or child-free people are that? What comes to mind? What just really gets to you?
That we are selfish.
Say more, Jennifer. Say more about that.
That why wouldn't you want to have a child? Why wouldn't you want to have a mini me? Or for instance, people's parents that pressure them. Why wouldn't you want? I want grandbabies. You're gonna keep me from having grandbabies?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I
How
am.
do you deal with that, Jennifer? I mean, when it's all said and done, when we break it down, one could say we are focusing on self, right? Now,
Right.
selfish can be kind of a negative connotation, but what's wrong? We talk about self-care. So how do you manage that when you hear or when you even get that direct comment, you're selfish because you're not having kids, Jennifer?
That's your opinion.
Right.
Period.
Call me what you want. I don't care. This is my life, and I'm happy. So that's all that matters.
And that's all that matters.
But
Thank you,
people say the
Jennifer.
same thing. People say the same thing to mothers when they want to take a break, or if they want to take a me day, they'll say that to mothers, like you're being selfish. Like, can they just take a break? Can they take 5 minutes to go breathe without the kids sometimes? So I think it's a woman thing. They put being selfish on women all the time, never men. That's never put on men that they're being selfish because they want to go off with the boys out drinking or go out hunting or do all these manly things. They never do that. So I think that's a woman thing because I hear people say it to mothers as well. Yeah. So I just wanted to add to that because I think it's ridiculous for both women, child free and mothers, for people to use the word selfish all the time.
Hmm. And I think it was Ruthanna or somebody said, just because you call me selfish doesn't mean I'm going to run out and get pregnant, just because you
Right.
think that. So, what are some other assumptions, myth that just really just gets to you when you hear it, when you read it in threads on social media, whether it's Reddit or IG? Kellea?
That word cat ladies.
Mm,
That we just sitting around with cats and dogs, and not dogs, because I think dogs is that's a whole nother thing. But I think that and we saw it during the election. Cat lady, Kamala Harris, who is a highly successful woman, happened to have no children, be child free herself, other than her step family. Um, they called her a cat lady, her and all the millions of women who don't have children. And they just grasped onto that as if it was true. And it's not like that. We're making choices, and it's so hard for people to understand that we're not being selfish. I think we were villainized quite a bit during the election in terms of, like you said, not having children, like you being selfish for not having kids. Well, if you want me to contribute to the economy and you want me to be a part of the political discussion, then maybe you should honor the fact that I want to make these choices so that I can do these things.
yeah.
So
Wow, good point. And yes, we were a hot topic during the election. We were
I
it.
was so mad.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Kellea. Ruthanna, did you have something you wanted to add, or Paula?
I wanted to say that I feel like some people like take it personal that I'm child free. And I want to just tell them, like, I'm not taking anything away from you. Like, my
Mhm.
decision to be child free doesn't take away from your dating pool. It doesn't, you can have as many children as you want. I'm not standing in your way. Please have them. So, drive the car you want, buy the house you want, go on the trip you want, do whatever you want. I'm not standing in the way of that. I'm not taking away from that. So don't try to like take away from my decision. You have your lane and I have my lane, and sometimes we might cross, but I don't know why you feel so threatened. I don't know. Like
Hmm.
that's I'm not a threat.
Not at all. Not at all. And one of the things that I always like to share on my platform is that I'm not on a high mountain trying to convince people not to have kids. That's not my platform. That's not the foundation of No Bibs, Burps, Bottles. I simply am a sister who came sharing her testimony, my narrative of why I didn't want children, why I opted out of motherhood. and wanted to encourage other women to find their voice in that. So I think that's a big myth that I'm constantly trying to dispel of you're trying to convince women not to have kids. And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to empower those who don't to keep living their best child-free life. There's a big difference in that. So, Paula, did you want to add anything?
No, everyone has said, I mean, everything. The main thing that really gets my gripe is what Ruthanna said about people take it as a personal offense when they realize that you are child free. And, and that my decision to be child free had nothing to do with anyone else. And I'm living my life just like everyone else. And, I guess one other myth is that child free people just sit on all this money. We have all this money, you have all this money because you don't have children, so you of course you're just sitting on money. They're like, no, I go to work every day just like you know. I
Yes.
have bills, I have a mortgage. My life has not stopped. I still have to live out here in this world that everyone else is living in and survive. And I am human. I'm still human. I just chose not to go down the path of parenthood. It's just, so yeah.
And thank you, Paula. And I think someone said in the chat, even if we were living on money, it's still our choice. It's our money. But that is also like another myth because they just think, well, why are you not rich if you don't have kids? And why, if you are rich, it's just like, you're selfish for, not giving back in some capacity. And it's like taxes, right? Maybe you're helping other family members. I don't have kids, but I know that I've helped family members with their kids, right? So it's almost like it's just hateration on the highest level, on the highest
It's
level.
like they're blind to what's going on in society right now. Like it's like they don't see the economy and the things that are going on. Like we're not rich. Some of us are not rich because of what's going on in the economy. Like some of us are working two, three jobs, and just because we don't have children doesn't mean we still don't have to do those things to maintain a life in America.
Yes, yes. And people don't like to talk about this part, but as a single individual or individual who doesn't have kids, we still contribute. Our taxes go to helping the children of this world. The foster care system is just not blowing up just because it's individuals, parents, and people who are child free who pour funding into things like that. So, but people don't want to talk about that.
And we make donations to all kinds of organizations that help people in the community, whether it's your church or homelessness or food banks or, all things that help people with children. We donate to and we donate our time, volunteer, all of that. So, yeah, people need to look at the bigger picture.
Yes, yes. So another question is, and I know Ruthanna is partnered. Paula, I'm not sure, you don't have to share, but I do know Jennifer and Kellea and myself, we're single. And again, this old maid myth, I see it all the time. People will come, I'm like, don't you have anything else to do? But they'll come on a comment of a video and they're like, nobody wants someone who's 40 with no kids. And I'm just like, it's almost like it's negative. And so, how do we collectively dispel that old maid myth of if you're single, no kids, you need to just go hide under a rock?
I actually had a cousin who told me you need a man.
That's going to
And
solve everything.
I'm like, what? I asked him to fix my sink, and while he was fixing my sink, he was telling me, you really need a man. And I told him I'd much rather get you a plumber.
Yes. My dad tells me the same thing too. He means it in a good way, like when you gonna get married, because baby girl, it's been a long time. But I'm just like, it's almost like you just don't have an existence. You don't have a life that's worthy of living if you are over 30, more specifically over 40. Because God forbid you tell a man that you're 50 and no kids and never been married. They're like, what?
But
What?
they could be in the same
What's
exact
wrong with you?
situation. They could be in the same exact situation and nobody does that to them.
Why
True.
is that? Why is that? And what do we do with that? Anybody?
I ignore it most of the time. So.
That part. That part. Yeah. Dating can be challenging, but again, we are about celebrating us. But I also know that this day can be a day where either you're celebrating your child-free life, you're still kind of ambivalent about what it all means. And again, we get bombarded with the positivity or what appears to be positivity for Father's Day and Mother's Day, because we also know that day is pretty difficult for a lot of people. I want to acknowledge that. Like when we are seeing it all on the news, people are doing stories and CVS has all the Mother's Day cards. For some people, that can be triggering. So I do want to acknowledge that. So as we kind of think a little bit more about how do we celebrate us, International Child Free Day, where people are just like, is it really international? Are people really getting up saying, Happy International Child Free Day? No, but I hope videos like this we celebrate each other. So Ruthanna, how are you living your legacy in regards to being child free? What does that look like?
Can you unpack what you mean by legacy?
Okay, so more so cultivating your mark in the world, um, making sure that people understand that just because you don't have kids doesn't mean that you can't contribute to others or the world in an impactful, meaningful way. So as we think about celebrating International Child Free Day, how are you making sure that your legacy lives on without children?
Sure. And one of the workshops that we had in the child-free Besties cohort was talking about this. And so just taking from that, instead of waiting until like I'm passing away and leaving money to some organization, I give my money and my time to things that I value now, to causes that are important to me now. And maybe that means it's animal rescue, or maybe it's helping orphans, whatever I'm married, so whatever my husband and I agree to do with our finances to help the world stay a better, as great as it can be. Um, I would say that's how I'm leaving my legacy so that people will remember Ruthanna Reardon for years to come.
Okay. Yeah. And there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, because the thing, a lot of times people like to challenge child-free people with that question, right? If you don't have any kids, it's almost like how are you existing? Why are you existing? So I'm going to pose that question to Jennifer.
Or
How
how do you know there's not a library being built with my name on it?
facts, right? Or a college, some college building, but
Scholarship fund,
Jennifer,
Ruthanna Reardon. Who knows?
exactly, exactly. But Jennifer, how are you leaving your mark in the world? And I know you leave it through the beautiful art that you create because you're an artiste. But how are you cultivating joy, leaving your legacy as a child-free individual?
The other part of that is with this collective that I'm in, there are like a lot of students that are like just out of college and they're trying to get started. So I have encouraged a lot of them to not be afraid, and a lot of them have had their first solo exhibitions.
And that's a
So,
way to give back,
right.
right? And again, younger adults, no children of your own, but again, someone gets inspired, someone gets motivated just by working with you. What
And they
about you?
always tease me around here and say, well, you're like our mother. You're the mother.
We get that. Yeah, I get it working in a college setting too. So, good for you. Kellea, what is leaving your mark in the world looking like for you right now? How does that bring joy to you in regards to the mark that you're going to leave?
Um, well, uh, as you know, I do planning and planners and I'm into all of that and scrapbooking. I think scrapbooking and genealogy are things that I'm very much into. I do my family tree for my family. Um, and just things like that, just preserving my family history, pictures and photographs. I'm very, fascinated by all of that, and so just trying to make sure I preserve all of that, all of the photos that my mother left behind. I got to go through and figure out, what to do with those, and then all the photos since the onset of digital cameras and cell phones. Y'all don't even want to know how many pictures I have. but I need to whittle them down and organize them and make sure that I am leaving, a good legacy. So that whoever is left after me, cousins and things like that. I have lots and lots and lots and lots of cousins. That's why I don't need no kids, because I got lots of cousins. I don't, yeah. There's so many cousins around. I probably could go pick up one of their kids and have them for a couple days, and they might not know they missing. That's
And then give them back.
right, and give them back.
And then
So yeah, so that's the way I kind of leave my legacy, is through visual things in terms of scrapbooking and things like that.
okay, great. And Paula, what about you? How are you leaving your legacy? What will that look like, feel like for you?
Well, I've been doing a mixture of what everyone's been doing here. I was the coordinator of our family reunion, well, our cousin reunion that we had over the 4th of July weekend. And we got together, my uncles and my aunts and uncle. My mother was like number 10 of 10. So I have lots of uncles and lots of cousins, and my aunts have passed on with my mom. I'm really big into genealogy as well, and coordinating different family get-togethers, and I coordinate at their house, so he'll be away from my house. But I coordinate my family get-togethers and put together our family tree. And as a professor, I also pay it forward with my grad students, working with special population children. I really enjoy giving them pointers and mentoring them as they are, maneuvering those education streets.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
and I feel like that's my way of paying it forward, giving back, or just, keeping my energy out there, my love of education and history out there.
Thank you. Thank you. And someone put in the comments, I know it's Kellea. Kellea and her family, they do the best family reunions. I'm trying to still get my family on board. I just saw on Facebook recently, one of my girlfriends, she posted her cousin's weekend. So I don't know if this is a new thing, but with you saying your cousin's reunion, I love that. And so again, especially when you don't have children of your own, family, if you come from a healthy family, because some people are disconnected from their family, I want to acknowledge that. It becomes that space where you feel seen, you feel appreciated, where you can help, where you can plan. So Kellea and Paula, y'all can get together and talk about that cousins reunion. So another question I have, and this is not to toot my own horn, because in everything that I do with No Bibs Burps Bottles, I try to remain humble. But this is my baby. I've given birth to something that I believe is important. It's important to me, and I've seen the evolution of having no followers to growing organically. So I don't do this to go viral. I don't do this to have 50, 11 million followers, although if that happens, that's great. But I do love this community. So my question to you is, as we celebrate and highlight us, what has No Bibs Burps Bottles meant to you? How did you find it? Why did you engage with it? So this is a loaded question, but just curious, so that other people who may be looking for community, kind of maybe know where to start. So I'm going to start with Jennifer.
Good question. I don't remember how I found it. I want to say it was one of my cousins. It was either Leah or Kristen, I believe.
And you got a lot of cousins. Jennifer,
Yeah.
in the Facebook group, Jennifer has about 4 cousins in there. And I appreciate you and all of them. But what has No Bibs Burps Bottles meant to you?
It's gotten me to a place where I guess I'm more confident about it, and I can better defend myself when somebody comes at me about being child free. Um, and of course, I love being your representative.
Yes.
Because they were like, "Oh, that's a group. Oh, y'all have a group for that?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
And Jennifer, she's the admin of the Facebook group, and she like, listen, this profile looks shady. I look at it, it's shady. You're not getting in. Jennifer was also an awesome brand ambassador. As you see her makeup and her the way she just puts herself together when she puts on that No Bibs Burst Bottles t-shirt, it's awesome. So thank you for all the work that you've done, Jennifer.
Oh, you're welcome.
Kellea, how have you engaged with No Bibs Burps Bottles? How did you get connected? What does it mean to you?
Well, I was there when you came up with it. We go way back to Ohio, working at Ohio University, and we became fast friends, but just the connection too of us being child free and being able to do things and socialize and being in the same sorority and all of that, I think just helped kind of feed that for you to be able to form the group. And so I was happy that I got to see you start that, the group. And I think for me, it's just I'm happy to be able to support it in any way I can. I think this is my third or fourth participation in an interview type of situation with you. I think I was your guinea pig at one point. So yeah, so it's just I'm glad to be able to talk about it with other people. Even white women ask me, they're like, "Oh my God, can I join that?" I'm like, no, but I can point you in a direction of other, organizations that you can become a part of. But they're also very fascinated because I mean, I know that some of the groups exist for them, but I don't think it exists on the level that that we participate and engage. And I think some of them are looking for that same thing. So the fact that you have become a model for other groups, and maybe you need to go out and do some training with them and be like, hey, this is how you start your own group.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
don't try to get in ours.
Yes. Well, Kellea, and you have been there from the very beginning.
Ride or die.
I've been able to bounce a lot of ideas. And just to kind of, speak quite frankly about that, when No Bibs Burps Bottle started, a lot of people sometimes want to call me out that I'm not being inclusive and why is it just for Black women? And I wanted a safe space for us. And when I think about being child free, there's also other parts of my identity that are important. So when we think about the intersectionality of being child free and being Black and being a woman and fill in the blank, um, all of that matters. And so the way I answer that question when I get challenged is, this is an open, like my Instagram is not closed, but my audience, my primary and target audience is African American Black women. And I'm unapologetic about that. So when I was creating this, I couldn't find anything that represented me. So I started it. The child free community is large. So I think there's a slice of the pie for everybody. So thanks, Kellea. Paula, how did you get connected with No Bibs Burps Bottles? How did you find us? What keeps you engaged? And anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I found you on Instagram. I was on Instagram and I was scrolling through different child free. I'm a member of the local Houston has a we call it No Kidding
Oh,
child free group here in
that is
Houston.
so cute.
And we get together every once in a while to different little local spots playing bingo or, different trivia games and things like that around the city. But the group is very diverse and Houston, if you've never been here, Houston is extremely large. It's very spread out. And so you are, pigeonholed really in your area. If it's not happening in, South Houston, it's like, I don't know if I'm driving an hour for that. But I came across No Bibs on Instagram, and I thought it was so cool that it was a group of, for Black women who were child free. And it was just nice. And I, was scrolling and I joined, followed, and then I found you on Facebook and I, joined there. And I loved the different posts and everyone, contributing. And the group has actually helped me with my choice because at first when I turned 35, Becoming child free wasn't like something I decided, oh, I'm child free. It never was like that for me. It kind of evolved. You know, I always tell people, I always found something else better to do than to have a child. You know, I was in grad school, like, okay, I want to finish this. And then I went, I finished grad school and it's like, okay, I want to travel. And people are, well, are you going to have kids? Well, I'll do that later. And then a friend, and actually was a coworker of mine, had told me, hey, maybe you don't want to have kids. And I'm like, well, maybe I don't. And, sitting with that, I had to sit with that with myself. And I told one of my older aunts about it, and she was like, well, if that's not something you don't want to do, then don't do it.
Hmm.
And it was kind of like she gave me permission to say, it's okay to be child free. And before I found this group, I was really shy about even talking about it. I wouldn't even tell people that, I don't have kids. Eventually you'll realize I don't have kids. But, I didn't really talk about it. But, being in this community, hearing everyone sharing their perspectives has really helped me feel good in my, path. Like I say, it was never a decision for me. It's just something that just happened. And
Mhm.
I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets on that aspect, but it's just something that happened and I'm just embracing it.
Yes, Paula. Thank you for sharing that. And I love to hear stories like that because, again, my role or job or purpose is not to convince people not to have kids. But when I love to hear stories when people are just like, it just organically happened. This is where I arrived. And because of your platform or hearing other women, I feel more confident. I feel more positive. I feel like, as the young people say, stand 10 toes down in it. So thank you. And now we're up to Ruthanna. Ruthanna, how did you find No Bibs Burps Bottles? Why or how do you stay engaged and what has it meant to you?
Okay, so I'm married. My husband is white, and he told me about No Bibs Perps bottles.
Go, honey,
So
go.
you've got a wide reach. We were living in Wyoming at the time, and we were living in this little baby mountain town, no more than 8,000 people, and not not one black person besides me. So I was just really isolated from like my black identity. I didn't have a problem with my child free or being a woman, none of that. But I didn't have any other sisters, child free or not, to interact with and connect with. And I was really sad. And he was like, "Hey, have you heard of this No Bibs Burbs Bottles lady? She's black and child free, and she's got this Instagram." And he wasn't even on Instagram. And I was like, no. I signed up like right then and was like going through all the posts, all the things. And I stay engaged. I mean, I continually react to things you post on Instagram and on Facebook. I was in the cohort this year. So what does it mean to me? To me, it means like my tribe that I was like, I didn't know I needed and was looking for this, but here it is. And I'm so thankful to have a space that intersects with more than just my child-free identity, and more than just being black. And even like my niche, like there's some people in there who are also vegan, and I'm like, yay, or other people who are also married, and I'm like, yay. So it's for me, it's just like I found my group, my posse, my tribe, my sisters. I found like the chosen family. Most of our family is very supportive that we're child free. Like our parents have stopped asking where we're going to make them grandparents. Our siblings have reconciled. They're like, okay, I'm not going to be an auntie or uncle from you. Great, I love you. Let's hang. So I come from a family who we had to slowly get them on board. And then they were like, okay, you guys are child free. This is just how it's going to be. They didn't think it was a phase that we're going to grow out of.
Got it. Got it.
So they've respected our choice. They don't try to pressure us or ask us questions about it anymore. They just accept this is a part of my identity, no different than my thumbprint is part of who I am.
Mhm.
So that's what No Bibs Purse Bottles has meant for me, a place where I can support others and be supported.
Yes, I love it. And I know you have shared that story before and continue to give hubby a hug for me. Thank him. Thank him. Because he didn't have to bring that to you. right? He could have just been let her find it on her own. So thank you, husband, for me. So as we come to a close, one, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for celebrating with me. And so, kind of the purpose of this again is to make sure that people understand we have a day, right? And the way we live, we have our whole life to celebrate us, but we do have International Child Free Day. So, if each of you can just go around quickly, and I'm going to give you a prompt. And the prompt is dear world, being child free is.
For me, and this may sound strange, but the word that keeps coming to me, I kind of think that it has, me being an only child, it has kind of empowered me in a way.
Mm-hmm. So, dear world, being child free is empowering.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Kellea, dear world, being child free is.
Being child free is okay. It's okay for us to be that way. And so we need everybody to be okay with it.
Period.
Period.
Ruthanna, dear world, being child free is.
Something to be celebrated. It's wonderful. It's marvelous. I wish everybody could partake in the beauty of it.
That part. That part. And Paula, dear world, being child free is.
It's a personal choice that deserves respect and celebration.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed. So I want to thank my guests. Thank you all for sharing this space and time with me. Again, if you've liked what you've heard today, please leave a comment. Again, you can watch this on YouTube. You can listen to this on Spotify. Please subscribe to our channel. You can also find us on Instagram. And you can also email us at info@nobibsburpsbottles.com. So thank you for listening.
Happy
Happy
International
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 Child
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 Free
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 Day.
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 Woohoo!